Year. Happy 2024. And I decided that I want to do a little bit more gel painting. I really like it. 2024. Okay, let's see here. Again, just getting set up here. And today, I'm going to get back to the other coloring page I was working on yesterday. But today I decided, see, what I'm doing is, since I've got my new gel pen set, I'm going back over pages that I've colored already with color pencil, and I'm going to try to add a little more with the gel pen. So I'm like going back over my work now. And again, I'm still working in Mythomorphia. The book kind of fell apart, so I had to glue it back together, and I can make a video about that. So how to a good glue for binding your coloring books and whatnot if you're interested. But anyways, so I've got this all together again, and this is a page that I did months ago. I don't remember exactly when I did it, but it's with, I believe I used Black Widow color pencils, and it's finished, right? I finished it. I'm like, okay, done. This picture is done. But now that I look back on it, now that I have some gel pens and painting with the gel pens and glycerin, I'm like, I could do a little bit more with this. It's the fun of working on these coloring books is you get different material, different mediums, and you're like, oh, I can go back over this with something. So I hope you can see it clearly. I hope the lighting's okay. And I am going to add more to this now. I thought I was done, but I'm not. I'm going to add some more. I'm going to paint some more with the gel pens. So looking at my, excuse me, the chart I made that you can download from my website. And I'm going to be using these two colors, 88 and 89, what I have numbered 89 and 90. This is my numbering system, so it's probably not going to help you if you are. But you can see it's like a turquoisey colors here. And I'm going to go through my set here and find those two. Give me 1 second. Turn this around. So I'm looking for 89 and 90. Okay. Got them. So much easier when you have it organized. So 89 and 90 right here. Boom, done. Found him. So there we go. So I got that. So of course I've got the Scotch tape down and the glycerin on hand. So first I'm going to, so 90 for my 89 is darker than 90. So I'm using the lighter shade first, the lighter turquoise kind of shade here. And going to go ahead and scribble that on my Scotch tape. Got a good glob on there. Now, normally when you have a gel pen, you get a glob that comes out at first. You'd be like, mess to write with. But with this, it's perfect. You want a glob coming out. The more, the better. So these pens are great, though. I really do like them. This is from the Creative Inspiration set. Very good pens. These are artists. They're gel pens made for artists. So they're always very good with the color coming out. So I highly recommend them, as well as the shuttle art. So I add some glycerin in there. Get it all mixed up. Get a nice... Great. So this is 80. Which one was this? This is the darker or the lighter one? This is 90. Yeah, this is the lighter one. It looks kind of dark to me. And I'm just going to start shading in some of this. So let me zoom out a little bit here, a little bit. Where to begin? I think I'll start with her hair. She's got a lot of shading in there. Oh, look at that. That's like very dramatic change here, making it much more vibrant. Love it. This is a kind of a, it has some sparkles in it too. But you can't really see it. It's very subtle. Maybe when it dries, you'll see it more. I've noticed with the sparkle colors, you may not see it when you first put it down. It doesn't look it, but then when it dries, the sparkles come out more. Now, the darker shade I have, so I got a lighter shade and a darker shade. And just looking at my sheet. So in the darker areas, I'm going to just go straight in with the darker pen. So I have some contrast here. Definitely want the contrast. And if you just color it right in, since I already have the glycerin on there, I can blend it out very easily. Have to be careful putting on the pen directly on the paper. If there's not a lot of glycerin on there, it might get stuck. You might be stuck with a line there that you can't smudge out. So I put the glycerin on with a lighter tone, and then I go in later with the darker on top of the glycerin. You can see I'm getting a nice shading in there now. It's all about the contrast, right? But also being able to blend it out is, well, look at that. I think she's looking, her hair is looking much more interesting now. I think we're getting much more pow, much more pizzazz with this, as I would say. It's my favorite word of the day this year. Starting out 2024, my word is pizzazz. I don't know why, it just came to me. We need more pizzazz, less utilitarianism, I guess you'd say. Less boring, blah, conformity. Need more creativity, originality, right? Okay, well, this doesn't have the gel on it that I want. So back to my, like I said, this is great because I can turn it sideways, this way, that. It doesn't spill, it doesn't move around. It pretty much stays in one place. So another thing I love about painting with gel pen. It's like very thick, but not too thick. It's not like, it doesn't go on heavy like acrylic or oil or something. It's, you can still get a very thin watercolor like look, but when you're using the ink, it just sort of stays in place for you, so you don't have to worry about making a mess, spilling it all over the place like you might with watercolor or something. Yeah, here we go. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing this to all my color pencil pages. I might. I don't know. It depends how ambitious I am with the gel pens. But I have a lot of pages I've already colored over the past few years with color pencil that I thought I was done until I started with gel pens. And now I'm thinking, oh, I could do more to this. I could do more to that, you know. Start looking back over your work thinking, you know, I could do a little more with this. All right, some shading in here, maybe a little shading on the shoulders. It should be a little darker here. So you gotta be careful not to, my finger just touched some of the gel. You be careful, it is a wet medium, so you always gotta keep in mind not to touch it. Careful not to touch it while you're working on it. All right, so I'm also gonna do her. So her body, I made her body the same turquoisey color. So I'm gonna putting some more, another layer of this lighter turquoise on there, and then I will use the darker turquoise pen, bring in some shading under the midriff and at the bottom. So I'm just following the lines of the artist here, put in the lines where the shading should go. So I'm just following that, covering up those hatch marks, since that is where the shading should go. All right, so maybe a little under the arm here. She has the snake on her arm, so it should be shaded in there a little bit. She has these like scaly things there on top of her arm. I would think would probably also be a little darker, not too much. But around where the snake is, I think it should be darker there, shaded in. Like how much more dramatic that looks. Just add a little gel pen and glycerin, and it like pops out even more, right? Love it. And it goes, so no matter what, I mean, the painting on the gel pen, whatever, just goes on everything. Any kind of color pencil. It's great. Really add. Because I don't think, like I said, this paper is very smooth, so I don't think I could add any more color pencil very well. But this is sort of a veneer over it, like a, what's the word? Glazing over it. They say in watercolor, glazing. I'll make her fingernails dark. All right, so that looks pretty much on a. Her ear should be a little darker too, I think, because it's under the hair. Okay, she's definitely, I think, popping a lot more than before. Popping out there. Now we've got the pink outfit and the kind of rusty red snake body. So I think I'll do the pink next, her pink bodice and feathers. So no end of kinds of pinks I can use. I'll tell you what, there's one color that you do not need any more of with the when you get these gel pen sets. They give you loads of pinks to choose from, which is great. I love pinks. So let's see. I think I will go with not a neon. I'm thinking these colors here that I have right about here. It's a pretty color here, 127. It's like a rose red. You got a nice bubblegum type pink there. So I'm thinking that 112 and yeah, 112 and 127 on my sheet. So 112, 127. So I'll pull those two out. $112. Here we go. All right, so you can see I got the number, I got my 112, 127. And I'm going to start with, which one's 112? Is this the 112? No, it's 127. I'm going to start with the 112, which is the lighter pink. And I don't want to put on top of that because it's all wet now, so I'm going to be careful that I can. Show you on here. Here's the lighter pink. It's like a bubble gum. I call it a bubble gum kind of pink. This is the Shuttle Arts pen now. I know which set I'm using always because I swatch them in order. So I know the first 120 are creative inspiration and 121 up is shuttle art. So I always know, because I kept an order, I kept them right from the beginning. Now them swatched out, I know which is which. So that's very helpful to me to remember, you know, as I work with them, I can, if I prefer one over the other, I know which set I would, you know, buy again. You know, and so far they've both been great sets. So I'd recommend both of them, really. All right, or any set. I mean, all gel pens are basically equal. Not much difference between them from what I hear from people that have done like not taste tests, but you know, comparison of the different gel pens. Said they're all pretty equal from what I hear. Like when cheap to the expensive, they're not much variation. You know, it's not like the variations change dramatically like with color pencil. With color pencils, you get a wide variety of formulas. And every set I have is different, like the quality of it and texture and etc. But with gel pens, from what I hear, they're all basically the same formula. So you're gonna get basically the same thing no matter what brand you buy. From what I hear from people who've tested them out, I have not personally. I've only used these two sets, and they work. They work great. You know, no complaints here. Although I think the major difference would be, um, you know, certain gel pens may have like a wider tip to have more come out faster. You know, if you're doing it for artwork, you'd want a wide tip that you can easily get out the color. Right. Unlike for writing, where you'd want to control the ink flow more. Definitely want more of a flow of ink with the artist. All right, so I basically covered this whole thing, her whole top part here with the light pink. So now I'm going to the darker pink, what I have numbered 127. So I'm going to go into the shadow areas with the darker pink or fuchsia. It's kind of a fuchsia color, really. It's very bright. I should probably get another color to be more of a shadow because this isn't really a shadow color. It's more of a mid-tone. Let me say, I'm going to go back here and pick a nice shadow. I should have thought shadow. I think 110 here is a good shadow color. So I'm going to go back and get 110 in my set here. All right, here we go. All right, 110 should be more of a shadow. So let's see that. I'll put that on top. So I want to do it while it's still wet, you know, get that shadow in so you can blend it out. I'm going to put it next to these little gemstones or stones on her outfit. Yeah, you can see a nice shadow going there. Maybe blend it up there a little bit. I want the sides more shaded in, I think. And the top. Yeah, so it's looking more three-dimensional already, right? A little bit inside. Maybe in the middle part, I'll make it a little more shaded. A little bit darker here, and then going down underneath, because it's going to be tighter on the bottom half. So it should be a little darker, a little more shaded. Yeah. Like that. It's looking better than before for sure. All right, so there's the top. So now back to the light pink now. Color, and I'm just going to go over this, the apron, I guess this is an apron. Sort of looks tribal or something. Like she's the queen of the snake tribe here, it looks like. I know it must have a name. He names all of these characters in the back of the book. You can look it up real quick. What this particular artwork represents. I think I'm running out of the lighter pink, so I'm going to have to add some more. This is 112. Just need a little bit more. Sometimes you put too much. I put too much down. Sometimes too little. Let me see that. Adding on, back on there, putting it right on top of where I had it before. So again, you can reuse these Scotch tape. Put the Scotch tape on the paper. You just wipe it off and reuse these again and again. Last a long time. So just covering the whole apron here. With the light pink, and then I will go in with the darker pinks with the midtone and shadow. Or the midtone and shadow. Got a little bit, I'm going back over the turquoise a little bit because I've seen some little kind of white dots here I want to fill in. Around there. There we go. Any little white areas, little white dots you miss really stand out, particularly when you're adding so much contrast now. All right, so the light pink is covering it. So now I'm going to go in with the darker pink. 128 and 110. So 112 to the light one. Mind me, I'm figuring out what's what again. What's the midtone and which one's the dark one? Okay, so I got 127 and 112 and 110. All right, so this is the darkest one, and this is the medium one. So I'm going with the medium tone first. Kind of get in these stripe colors. So it really comes in handy that you can go in and do smaller details directly with the pen. Then when you want to just cover a wide area, you can just get out the glycerin and the brush and you get that done. All right, so there's the midtones there. I just got to color this whole area here at the midtone. Now I'm going with the darkest shading part, and I'm going to go under some of these. Make them look a little more layered. It's half circles, I guess you call them. I blend this a little bit here. Some of it needs to be a little blended. It's a little clumpy. But again, because I already covered the whole area with glycerin, I can easily blend it out with a brush. So going back in with the darkest, I'm going to make it really dark down here, under the belt, back here. That's like popping a lot more than before. And I want to go back up to the feathers. She has some feathers in her hair. I made the same color as the outfit. I have it matching. So it's a bit of an orangey red I had, but I want to put in this pink color. Originally, I had it more of a peach kind of color, but I'm going to have it matching her outfit. As we'll have her color coordinated. So that's the lightest pink. Now I'm going to go in with the mid-tone pink, being careful not to touch this area. It is still wet. It stays wet for a couple hours. Afterwards, you do need to give a couple hours to dry. This is the mid-tone color. I'll make her eye that color too. Inside of the mouth. Now I think we'll also make the snake pink. Why not? The snake's already kind of pinky there. So I still got some more light pink here. I'm going to cover the snake that she's holding. I paint over the snake. You have just enough light pink to cover the snake. Then again, go with the mid-tone. So blend that around, blend that out. Down here, as the snake body goes behind her, he's going to be darker. So I'm going to use the darkest shade here. Yeah, in this area, so the darkest color over here. I might go back later and make a gray, dark gray, perhaps. I want darker the feathers that are in the hair. It's going to be shaded down there. Going with that a little bit more, wherever it looks like I need some more shading. In the mouth of the snake. Now the bottom of the snake matches her bottom. So her bottom is a reddish brown, kind of a rusty red, or like a golden kind of reddish tone. So I'm going to start painting that in. So I need to find a color here. It's like a dark rusty color that matches or that I like. A burnt sienna kind of color. We have some, yeah, we have some here. This is like a 265 matches. All right, 265, 63, and 66 for my highlight mid-tone shading, I think works. So 265, 63, 66. Pull those out. 65, 63, and 66. All right, so we got them here. These are the shuttle art pens. So 65 is the light one, 63 is the mid-tone, and then 66 the dark one. Probably would have helped more if I put light, medium shading in order of number. Next time, if I swatch a gel pen set, I'll try to do the light, dark, medium. I just did them in order as I got them out of the box, but just an idea that if you're just starting to swatch a new set of gel pens, try to put them in order, a light, medium, dark, numerical order, so you can remember, because it comes in handy to know that, okay, 63 is light, 60, yeah, 65, yeah, 60, it would be nicer if it was 63, 64, 65, just lighter to darker there. Make it easier to keep track of, you know, working with them. Whatever, do the best you can with these things. Actually, what would be great is if they made a set like that where they numbered it, like they do with some pencils, you know, just put them in order 1 to 120 and put them in light, medium, dark categories. Okay, so this is the light, kind of reddish brown. I'm going to start on the snake here, putting it on the snake. On his belly here. Okay, so the lightest shade on the snake I just put over with the glycerin. So now I'm going to take the next two colors, the darker and mid-tone. 63 is the mid-tone. So get some shading in there on the snake here, a little bit over here, make them a little darker under her hand. Accentuate the hand a little bit. And here near her arm should be darker. I think her arm should be darker too. I guess some more. I'm going to go back to the turquoise color and sort of add some more layers on her arm. It's the same shade, just adding more layers, kind of glazing over it a little bit. Get a little shaded in there. Okay. So back to the mid-tone color for the snake. Make it a little shaded right here and down here. It should definitely be more shaded. And more shaded over here. I'm going to add some more turquoise on her arm. Shade her arm a little bit more. Her arm should be darker here. And her shoulder should be a little darker there too. I'm blending that out. Make it a little smoother looking. Okay. All right. So the snake is pretty much done. I do have the darkest color that I have here, 66. This is going to be really dark. And it's going to go in the very darkest areas. See, that's coming out. Yeah. A lot of glycerin on it, so it's not, it sort of rolls off a little bit at first. Yeah, I'm going to make this really dark down here. It's going to cover, I want to color over the whole thing. Blend it out a little bit, so we'll see too many lines. Oops, look at that, I'm lifting it up now. That's not good. It's starting to lift up. I had too many layers. You can add too many layers. I'm just going to brush it over. Just take the brush and brush it over, and it smooths it right out. I'm putting on multiple layers of very thick gel here, so it's getting. There we go. All right, so now for her body, which matches the snake body. And I'm going to start again with the lightest shade that I have, which is 265. Yes, I'm going back to this, being careful not to touch anything that I've put gel on, glycerin on, because it's still wet. It's the lightest rusty brown shade. I'm going to need a lot of it, because you can see she had a huge body here. I'm going to start covering, so I'm going to need a lot of gel. Oops, shaking the camera there by accident. Some glycerin. Here we go. Now let's start covering the body. It's the lightest shade I'm putting on first. Put a nice cover. I do one section at a time because this is a lot of area to cover with the gel. All right, so there's covered the lightest layer there. So next we'll go with the mid-tone color that I have, 263. I'll just go in there. Now that's all covered with glycerin. Just start putting some mid-tones in there. Going over all these shading lines, the hatching lines to cover. I can blend it out a little bit. Okay, and then the darkest. Smooth out any clumpiness of the pen. Blend that in. Now I'm going with the darkest color. Oops. A little messy there. Oh, so far so good, right? She's looking much brighter than before. I'll show before and after later. You can see. I think she's much more dramatic. All right, going back to the lightest one, lightest shade of my brownish, reddish brownish rusty color here. I know what you call it. I guess it's like burnt sienna. It's like a light burnt sienna, raw sienna ish. Probably more like a burnt sienna when you get a lot. She's really popping out. Okay, let's do, I want to do her background here. I cover this with a light shade first. I also mixed in some turquoise as well. So it's like rusty and turquoise kind of mixed in, like multicolored, kind of because, you know, scales are not just one color. They're kind of shimmer, right? Sometimes they shimmer different shades. So I'm putting a little turquoise in there as well for the top. The bottom half of her is just the rust colors, sienna colors. Yeah, like that. And I think I will also paint this side a little bit as well. Let's see if I can get a little more. I have just enough to cover this area. A little turquoisey in there. All right, so that's the lightest rust color. Here's my mid-tone. That's my light. My dark. There's my mid-tone. There it is. Got my mid-tone color. Start coloring that all in here. So the light is behind her, so it's going to be all darker on the inside here. So it's coming out. Yeah. So I couldn't tell it was coming out. Okay, I can see it now. So blended together. Very smooth paper, like I said, so it kind of smushes, the gel pen kind of moves around. It's kind of like painting on ice or something. It's so smooth. That can be a little hard. I'm probably not able to get as much gel pen on as I would with more thicker cardstock or paper that wasn't, yeah, had some more tooth to it. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. That's a very nice, smooth paper. It's very thick. This is very good quality paper. I use a watercolor pencils on here with water and just paint right on this paper. It comes out really well. It holds up pretty decently. I mean, obviously it's not watercolor paper, but it does a much better job than, I mean, you couldn't even do that on the cheaper papers, you know, Amazon type paper, copy paper. They put some coloring books on. So it's very good, thick paper. It's just, and it's very smooth. So I'll give you that nice, smooth look to it. Very smooth. So it is actually very good for blending because it's so smooth. It's easy to blend things out. Yeah. Blends right out very easily. No issues there. You can blend as far as you want. 266. Get a little more shadow right here. Oops. Let me muck that up a little. There we go. Okay, back to the lightest shade again. Got a big body. It's like the most. See, I wouldn't want to color this by hand, like a large area like this. I wouldn't want to sit there just coloring it in with a gel pen. I mean, you could do that if you have a lot of patience. Obviously, I've already colored it with color pencil, so I'm not going to color over that again a second time. But just painting over it with glycerin and gel pen I'll do, because that's be a lot quicker. Obviously. But even though I only have enough for half of this piece here, I gotta put some more on, I think. Yep. Add some more. Okay, so I'm just putting a light shade of glycerin on top. And the light burnt sienna-ish color. Okay, that is done. Next, 63, mid-tone. So now it's all covered with glycerin. I can just go in and color away. And blend it out later. And again, I want a little bit of turquoise kind of splotches throughout as well. Give it that shimmery kind of look. A little more interest. Give it a little more interest, as they say. All right. I couldn't sit here coloring each one. I mean, I have done that before, like coloring in each scale one by one, but yeah. I'm just going to go in the gel pen, have some fun. Okay, now under here is going to be a little darker. It's the mid-tone color I'm using, so. Down here is going to be pretty dark. So we can just go all in with the mid-tone. Medium brown color. Okay, so now for time for the darkest color, darkest brown that I have. And I'm going to make some areas really dark, right down here under the tail, under the body here. Obviously, it's going to be darkest down here. It curves over. Down here. It's all very dark, I think, down here. The light is up here, so it's going to be very dark, getting darker down here. But I still want to see some contrast between the mid darks versus the dark darks. So dark pushes it back, so we want this part of the body pushed back compared to the one in front, so we definitely want all darker under here. This section has to be darker than this section, and this section needs to be dark too because it's way in the back there. You want to push that back in the dark, but not too much, just enough that you can see it's more shaded. And then this part, of course, is also going to be very darker here. That part. Wow. So far, wow, it's been almost an hour already. I'm ready to take a break, but this is what I've gotten so far. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of putting the painting with gel pen on color pencil. And again, I'm going to have to finish this in a part 2. This will go on for hours, but I love it. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy New Year, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.